All right, guys, so today we are learning modeling equations. So for our notes, we are basically learning how to take a model and create an equation and solve it, and taking an equation to a model and solving it as well. So I am going to do two problems, and then you will be responsible for the other two. So to write our equation, we are basically looking at what exactly it is that the model is giving us. What is it representing? It is first of all showing us that our squares are our x's and our zeros are our numbers, or our squares are our coefficients and variables, while our circles are our constants. Remember, a constant is a number without a variable. The two different sides represents the two different sides of your equal sign. So you basically will have your equal sign, and the models that's on this side is one, and then the models that's on this side is the other. So make sure that you're not writing it all together, and remember that you do have an invisible equal sign in between the two sides. So first off, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's, and I can see that my x's are all negative. So on the first side, I have negative 4x. Again, my x's are negative, and there's 4 of them. Next, I have some numbers in my constants. They are positive, so I'm going to be adding that. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of them. So plus 13 constants. On the other side, I have 1 negative x. So if it's just 1, remember you don't have to put the number, you just put the x. If you put negative 1x, I mean, mathematically that's not correct, but some teachers will take off, some teachers won't take off. So just get in the habit of not putting it. And then I have 1 positive 1. So I'm going to put plus 1. Now that I have my equation, you're going to use your notes from yesterday or think back to your notes from yesterday on solving equations. The first goal is to get our variables on one side and our constants on the other. I like to start off with my smallest variable, so that way I'm not working with negative variables. So I am going to add 4x to both sides of the equal sign. If I add 4x to this x, I must add 4x to this x. Okay, if I add 4x to that x, I have to add 4x to that x because they're on different sides of the equal sign. And what you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do to the other side of the equal sign. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0, so that's going to cancel out. I'm going to bring down my 13, bring down my equal sign so that I don't start confusing stuff. If I have negative 1 plus 4, that's going to give me a positive 3, and those are x's, so I can't forget my x. And I'm going to bring down my plus 1. Now I have an uneven equation because I have one term on this side and I have two terms on this side, and I want to balance that back out. That's why we're working with a balance beam. I want to balance that back out to where I have one term on this side and one term on that side. If I look at my variables, well, I only have one variable out of all three. There's only one variable. So I don't need to get rid of that. I don't want to get rid of that because then, I mean, I can't get rid of it. There's nothing I can combine it with or join it with. So the only other thing I can get rid of is one of my constants, because I have a constant on this side and I have a constant on that side. I don't want to move this constant to this side because then I have 0 terms on this side and still 2 terms on this side. So I want to get rid of the constant on this side to make it 1 and 1. I currently have a positive 1, so I'm going to subtract 1 and subtract 1. That's currently a positive 13. So I'm going to subtract 1 and subtract 1. And 13 minus 1 is 12. Bring down my equal sign. I haven't done anything to this 3x, so I'm going to bring it down. And 1 minus 1 is 0, so that cancels out. Lastly, I need to get rid of my multiplication or division, which right here I have a multiplication of 3 times x. And in order to get rid of it, inverse operation is to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Bring down my equal sign. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so that cancels out, and I'm going to bring down my x. So my answer is x equals 4. Next, we are given the equation, and we need to create our model. So I'm just going to create what I see. I noticed that up here, my numbers was represented by circles, and my variables was represented by x's, and I just added a positive or a negative depending on what the sign was. So right here I have -8. -8 is numbers, so that's going to be circles. So I need 8 negative circles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to put -1 in each one so that I know. Then I have 1 negative x, and I know it's a 1 because anytime there's a variable there, there's basically an imaginary 1. So that's a square, and it is a negative x, so I'm going to put negative x. Then I have my invisible equal sign. So now I'm on the other side of the balance beam. I have -4x, so that's my squares, and I need 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are negative x's. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I need 16 positive circles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And these are all positive, so I'm just going to put positives in it. I know that they are 1s because they're circles and not squares. So that's how I would identify my model. Next, I need to come over here and solve my equation. So I have a -1x and a -4x. Remember, the bigger the negative, the smaller the value, and I like to get rid of the smallest number first. So I'm going to start off with my -4x by adding 4x to this x and adding 4x to this x. I'm going to bring down my -8. -1 plus 4 is a positive 3x. Bring down my equal sign. -4 plus 4 is going to zero out and bring down my positive 16, or I can drop the positive and just bring down 16. Next, I have 3 terms, and I want to make it 1 and 1, so I'm going to get rid of this 8 first. So add 8, add 8. -8 plus 8 is 0. I'm going to bring down my 3x equals, and 16 plus 8 is 24. Lastly, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. 3's cancel out. X equals 8. So that's my answer. Now you're going to take the time to go ahead and write your equation from this model as well as solve, and then take this equation, create your model, and solve it.